There was career day. And career day, everybody was going around and, teacher asking what you want to be when you grow up. And everybody was saying the traditional thing: doctor, teacher, soldier, pilot. It coming close to me and boy, I never have an answer. Virgin sitting next to me say he wanted to be a systems analyst. And I said, right, systems analyst, that sounds nice and it sounds different. So when my turn come, they say, what you want to be? Nooks, what you want to be? I was like, a systems analyst. All right, cool. So after the thing, I went to Conrad and I said, Conrad, what's a systems analyst? As luck would have it, one of my math teachers was dabbling in systems analysis. During that same time, I entered a math competition. And out of that math competition, I got a 2-week internship at IBM. And that even further my interest in technology. I scraped through and went to sixth form, and I was doing math and physics, and I got through with those two. I also became head boy at Arden. Yeah, I like to tell people it's by default and because a couple of persons, knew my capabilities. It's not because I was the stellar student. I didn't let them down because at the end of high school, I got an award, the Nellie Holson Award. I shared it with my good friend Sarita Campbell. A virgin of mine was going to USA. He was going to fill out an application. I don't remember who it was. I said, come with me now. I said, all right, I can follow you. I said, since you're there already, fill out a form now. And fill out the form. I said I wanted to do computer science. And I said, computer science kind of full, and we're doing it based on grade, and your grade's not good enough for you to get in computer science. But we can put your name on a waiting list. I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to go up on the waiting list. By that time, I got a job at CIBC. Sandra McDonald was the manager. A full-time opportunity, it was a part-time job, a full-time opportunity came up. And she said, boy, I get a full-time job, but the fact that you don't plan to be here, you plan to go to university and stuff like that, we can't give you the full-time job right now. And I said, boy, I'll sit out for a year. So I sit out another year. And sometime during the summertime, she's like, how come I don't see you preparing to go to school? I said, but boss, I'm not saving no money or anything because I figure I'm going to have another year. And she said, no, not under my watch. You're going to school. She said, go to school. All the supervisors there, they kind of put together, make sure I had my books and school fee pay, and she gave me a car to drive to school. I was doing well as a teller at CIBC, but persons also saw my potential. So I don't know, somehow they heard about me. They offered me this. They were going into commercial banking, and they also needed systems knowledge. So they offered me this job. I took the job. I stayed there for a little bit because a brethren of mine went out Ainsley. The thought was to start up a business to convert the car rental package. That didn't work out. PCs started, personal computers started to become a thing, and everybody wanted one. But I remember the first one that we got. John Duncan was just starting JMB at the time down by Ocean Boulevard. And Ainsley had 2 computers to deliver for them. And the computers came, and somebody had to set them up. No, I didn't know anything about that. They teach you theory, they don't teach you practical. So I read up on it and I set up the computers and I took it down to JMB to deliver them in the boxes and everything, expecting to get a sign off and things like that. Joan Duncan came out and said, computer in a box can't help me. So take them and carry them with you. If that you can leave. So now I had to set them up. She said, but if them can't talk to each other, they're not no use to me either. So now I had to go learn networking to see how I can get the computers to talk to each other. My way of learning is that when I see something new and it is challenging, I start seek out who I think are the leaders in that area. So in my journey, I came across Stephen Knight. Stephen is the kind of guy that will teach you anything that he knows, and he will go at pains to explain it to you to ensure that you understand. One of his philosophies is the only way for knowledge to grow is for you to share it. Get an interview with LOJ, and so of course, went to the interview, and the week after I turned up for the job, and they say, oh, sorry, we're not ready. We didn't think that you were going to take the job, so we weren't prepared for you. I think that you're overqualified for this job. They say, all right, go and come back for next week. So I started a job with LOJ. LOJ had all the systems in the world that you could think of. They had mainframe, they have Unix, they have what they call AIX. They had Windows systems and everything, and they had persons who were willing to share their knowledge and experience, and LOJ was willing to train you. So I was flying all over the world training on IBM system, Microsoft systems, and all of that. There's this merger with all the insurance company. LOJ merged with Island Life. Then they were bought out by, I think, Mutual of Barbados and another company in Barbados merged to form Sagicor that then acquired LOJ and all that. So I was kind of worried about my job at the time, and I questioned myself. If I was supposed to get laid off at LOJ, I was there for about 3 years, what would I market myself as? And I started looking around to see what was emerging and what it would take. And I realized that security was emerging. So I started looking around to see what do I need to do to become a professional. And I found a couple of courses. One is CISSP, Certified Information System Security Professional. I liked the fact that it said professional. So that says to me that, with this, I can now become a professional. So I gravitated towards that course. My brethren, my pari from UA and from Arden, he was doing data analytics. He asked me if I wanted to come and join. We came to an agreement, and I decided that I was going to leave big bad Sagicor to come to a little known company named Simtai. So I joined Simtai as the manager for audit, for IT auditing, because I knew so much about technology. We started testing systems for banks. And the main reason is you're testing these systems to identify vulnerabilities that could be exploited before the bad guys get to them. And then you advise the clients on how to fix it. But one of the most interesting ones that I've worked on is persons were losing money through internet banking. What we found was malicious software, short malware, on the computer. Now, it was very interesting what this malware did. It took control of the computer to the point where it recorded every keystroke that you'd have made on the computer. It took screenshots of everything that you were working on. It turned on your microphone and recorded your background. It turned on your video camera, recorded that, and it uploaded that to a command and control site. All of it stemmed from what was supposed to be a video of, let's say, University X girls fighting naked. It was supposed to be a video. So everybody was curious to see, do I know this girl? Who is this? And they clicked on the video link, and it seemingly didn't do anything. But the thing that it did was to compromise the computer in the back end. You'd wonder whether or not this is going to take an awful long time. But this can take a matter of minutes or seconds. In some cases, it can take days, months, or even years, because some persons are just waiting to say, I've infected you. I'm just sitting there and waiting until a timing is appropriate or a particular trigger happens for me to spring into action, so to speak. So some software will do that. So it all depends on what the would-be attacker is after. And some will just sit there and collect information. But this was collecting all of that data and sending it back. So included in that was all the sites that you visit, your username and password for your internet banking thing. Therein came some of the compromises. So persons were now able to go into people's account, move their money to different places, to mule accounts, or move it around to different banks. Ransomware was a big deal, and still is a big deal, where persons' systems were compromised, and from those systems being compromised, all their files and data were encrypted, and they had to pay a ransom to get those unencrypted. Several companies, even this year, you have entities that have been compromised through ransomware, and that's one of the things that we encourage. We encourage ensuring that you have safeguards within your system so that you can remain you can remain resilient to different types of attack. Ensure that whatever you're using, use a password. We'll go a step further. Don't just use a password. Use what will be referred to as multi-factor authentication. You do banking, right? So when you enter your username and password, the bank may give you a token that you have to put in another number from a one-time token. That's called a multi-factor. Because the username and password is something you know. The token is something you have. Some persons will do a fingerprint scan or an iris scan, and that is something you are, looking at biometrics. Now they have added other layers like what device are you connecting from, or where are you, what location are you, or the way you hold your device. Different things come in to determine, and all of this is because persons are using different ways of attacking people and systems. So some person says, if you can tap your card to pay for something, then if somebody has a machine that can read, it means that the machine is reading your thing without you inserting it anywhere or anything. So somebody with a reader can come closer to your card and probably tap it and get a reading from whatever your card is transmitting. It may not be as prevalent now because there are other controls that the companies are putting in. A wallet that will block signals, or a card holder that will block signals. Keep your card in sight. Don't make nobody go in a back room, go run your card and stuff like that. Ensure that you're very vigilant with your card, and pin your card and protect your pin. You can set limits, so the financial institution gives you options to what features you can turn on your card. Like for me, I turn off tap feature from my card. Insert gives me the option to put in my pin. Tap, you can just tap and go. If this is a computer that you use to do all your business in all your banking and all that, it may not be the same computer that you want to go to those sites to download movies from, because those movie sites are riddled with so it may not be the same computer that you use to do that, or you may not want to do that on the same network. Phishing comes under the category of what we call social engineering, and that is playing on the human element of security, what we refer to as the weakest link, or one of my colleagues would refer to as fleshware. You have malware and software and all of that. You refer to the human element as fleshware. So phishing is targeted as fleshware, social engineering. Just to give an example of social engineering in the Jamaican context, lottery scam is a social engineering technique where somebody call you up to you win something. Now this happens over electronic means. So it happens from someone sending an email purporting to be someone you're familiar with or offering a good or service or something, and ask you to perform a particular action. And that action could be straight out, send me this information, or it could be clicking on a link or something, and once you do that, what it can do is to download software or to take it to a website to do further activities that would lead to the compromise of your computer or your data, depending on what the would-be attacker is after, or could also lead to control of your computer. There are other variations of that called smishing, where they would send something through your SMS, your messaging systems, your WhatsApp, your Signal, your whatever it is that you use for SMS, and ask you to click on link for offers. Protecting yourself depends on the threat that you are protecting yourself against. For credit card and credit card fraud, you be careful of how you use your card. But for certain transactions, you use a card with a small limit on it. For your bank account, for your debit cards, don't use your life savings, a debit card that's attached to your life savings. Move the money that you need in your transaction account. That's one way to protect against that. Avoid, be vigilant in terms of the links that you click from, emails or even the messages that you get from so-called friends, asking you to click on link. Just question it. If it looks bad, then assume it's bad and call the person. Did you send me this email? You validate whether or not. I see an email coming in from you that is asking me to send you this information. Could you confirm that you have sent that email? If it's from your bank, reporting to come from your bank, then before you do anything, call your representative at the bank. If it's very important to you, then take the time out to call. If it's not that important to you, then leave it. You delete it. Some persons use what they call a password vault, which is a secure, supposed to be secure way of keeping your passwords. Some persons use password systems. You may have a favorite song that you use, that you're always playing over and over in your head. You can take bits and pieces of that to formulate your password. You know that you'll not forget that, to formulate a strong password. But more importantly, if you have a device that you always connect to your internet banking, for example, with, then use that device and that device only, because the system may recognize the device and the properties on that device, and help you to alert you if they see something different. So it may challenge you in different ways to say, oh, realize this is a new device. Can you please enter some additional information to give us? It's things like that. And then this whole era of data privacy, be careful of how you overshare and what you put out there. One gig that I did a few years ago, I was asked to do a presentation on a security awareness presentation to a hotel group. I called the organization because I wanted to find out more about the organization. So I called, good afternoon, my name is Kunde Nokono. I am an exchange student at the university, and I have this project that I need to do, I got somebody, they transferred me to the IT department, and then he started giving me information to help me in my project. I collected that information. I now knew the people that were in the organization. I now was able to start research the individuals to see what they're like, to run them through a tool that will go out there and find everything about them, even their Amazon history and stuff, if that was publicly available. And so one guy I found, he had a blog. His daughter posted on the internet taking us through a tour through his house. So I was able to present that to say, this is how I found you, this is how I found the systems that you work on, this is how we need to be aware of what we put out in the public. The fact that you had persons who were willing to support me going to school because they saw it was important. The fact that you had persons who would take the time out to give you the knowledge, even sometimes when you don't have the time, they're going to give you the entire history. For me now is to share everything that I know as far and as wide as I can, that can help somebody to grow and develop. We have one young man that's here now. He came in, started working with us, and he said, "You don't remember me, right?" And I said, "No." He said, "But you are the reason why I'm here." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I met you at a conference one day and I asked you a couple of questions. And you were willing to come to the university and come sit down with me and talk with me for 15 minutes about what I could do with my life and my career. And that said something. And that is why I wanted to be close to where people like you are." It's just so funny, because the more you pour out is the more you make space for being filled up. If you want to grow in an organization, don't hold on to what you know and think that you're going to grow because nobody else knows it. You know what's going to happen? Is that they realize that they can't move you from where you're at because nobody else knows what you know, so you have to stay right there. You get me? You have to stay right there because you alone can do that. That's not growth. You pour into this youngster so he can do what you do and know what you know and can build on it and do better than you did, so that you can move on to learn something else from someone who is dying to move to the next place. You know what I mean? And that's how progression goes. That's how growth goes. That's how we survive.